Hi, it's Leonore. Welcome to Soul Searching Tarot. I am here to finally talk about Capricorns, zodiac sign of Capricorn, Saturn. um, I know I am a little late. I apologize. I'm just trying to recover. I don't know if it's the full moon in Pisces that has me with no energy on top of my recovery, but it's okay. I'm so happy to be here with you folks, and I do have a lot to talk about. But first of all, just so you know, you could always contact me for a private reading. I will leave my email in the description box. And my Facebook and Instagram pages are up, and I think that's it. Just so you know, quick intro. If you're confused about how I do my readings and my astrology, which I do integrate the both in this platform here in my channel, I always have part one. Give you an insight of the zodiac sign or some type of information. Part 2 and 3 is when I start my readings, okay? I do sometimes have to go into part 3 because I like to clarify my cards and I like to have a full message, okay? If you're into tarot. If you're not, you don't have to go into part 2 and 3, but definitely at least give me a like, subscribe to my channel, comment, whatever it is that you need to do to give me some feedback. That would be great. I really appreciate that. All right, so Saturn rules your planet, Capricorns. Saturn also co-rules Aquarius. Aquarius does have its own planet, which is Uranus or Uranus, whatever you pronounce it. I like to pronounce it in a different way, obviously. But it does co-rule Aquarius. But your planet is Saturn. And that's not unusual. You'll see that other planets will rule two planets. For example, Venus does rule Taurus and Libra. And then Mars is the same, pretty much same deal. You'll see that Aries is in the house, Mars is in the house of Aries. But Mars does also co-rule Scorpio. When I mean co-rule, I mean like about 30%. It covers about 30% of the characteristic trait of that planet. Okay? All right. I hope all of you are doing well. You know, I am blessed to be here today. I really am. I've been wanting to do a video for so long. You have no idea. So I hope you stick around and listen to what I have to say, and I hope that it resonates in any way. So, it is the 10th house. So Capricorn happens to be the 10th house of the zodiac. So if you hear 10th house, that is your house, Capricorn. Okay? And I'm going to show you a little zodiac wheel. I do show it in my birth chart videos. So if you want to go back to my birth chart videos, I'll try to leave a link in my description box. But there is a zodiac wheel, and I am going with you folks. I'm going to show you the zodiac wheel for a specific reason. But your house, Capricorn, has been ruling. Well, Pluto has been in the sign of Capricorn since 2008. It's about to leave the constellation of Capricorn. In 2024, like early 2024. But since 2008, we've had Pluto, the planet of the underworld, sit in your house. And I'm going to go into specific characteristic traits of each, like the planet Pluto and of your house Capricorn. But in part 1 of Scorpio, the Scorpio video, I do go into details of how that's affected us as a human race, or maybe even personal. Okay, but Pluto is the ruler of Scorpio. All right, and so when you hear Pluto, Pluto rules crime, fascism, dictatorship, as well as devotion, dedication. That's Pluto. The fact that it's in the house of Capricorn, well, what does Capricorn represent? Well, Capricorn represent career, objective, goals. So Pluto, the sign of death and transformation, is in the house of Capricorn. So you might see a lot of construction work, to put it mildly. It will go into a lot of, it's going to go into a lot of changes as far as undergoing career, finance, legacy, status. Those things will undergo some type of changes in your life and as a human race. Okay? If you were kind of confused of what the hell Pluto in Capricorn means. Just quick synopsis, really quick. Pluto was founded in the 1930s, but you know, folks, I want you to know that just because Pluto was founded in the 1930s, it doesn't mean that this dwarf planet or this planet did not exist until then. Pluto has been in our universe, in our constellation, for many centuries. And we're talking about Pluto affecting the medieval times. Oh my God. Pluto was the medieval times, basically. Pluto in Capricorn, not saying Pluto in Capricorn affected the medieval times, because the medieval times lasted for a few centuries, but yeah, that's Pluto, the medieval times. The Great Depression. When Pluto was founded, what happened in the 1930s? Well, the Great Depression was undergoing. The farmers were losing their crops, so finance was going down. When it came to these farmers, the Industrial Revolution started up, as well as World War II. So it's pretty freaking dark, to say the least. It is a dark planet. And I consider Saturn, which is your planet, Capricorn, to be just as dark, but at the same time very focused. If I had to compare Capricorn and Pluto, I would check each one: legacy, status, death. It's mostly pretty much the same when it comes to Scorpio and Capricorn. A few things, Capricorn may have that Scorpio won't, but Saturn, which is Capricorn, and Pluto, which is Scorpio, there's things that are very similar. And to have Pluto in Capricorn, what has happened since 2008? The freaking bank went bankrupt. The banks went bankrupt, among other things. And I'm not going to go there. Okay. Let me take a breath. All right. So, like I said, Capricorn represents recognition, legacy, but it does have a shadow side. Every sign has its shadow side. And the shadow side of Capricorn, your house does represent depression. It does represent suicide as well as death. Okay. Capricorn is basically the house that inherits the sense of humanity, or the inhumane. Take it as you know, as it pleases you. I think there's inhumane and humanity could, to me, pretty much means the same. When you're putting sin in the same category. But yes, it carries the sins of the inhumane. That's your house, shadow side of it. And so I'm going to go to my picture. I've done this before with a couple of other signs, especially my birth chart videos. But I do want to show you something, Capricorns, that you'll be very interested to know. Cappies, you are the patriarch of the zodiac. I don't know if you knew that, but you are the daddy of the zodiac. And Cancer happens to be the mommy of the zodiac, the matriarch of the zodiac. All right, so I don't know if you can read this or not. You know what? It's okay. I'll point it out and tell you what it says. It's not. It's in pencil. It's not in marker, so you may not be able to read it. But this is the Zodiac Wheel. This is the constellation that historians and astronomers and mathematicians, you know, it's a geometrical shape that all conjuncts and opposes and trines and sextiles, all types of moons and asteroids and planets. And so I made it very simple for you. This is not how it looks like on your birth chart, or if you're looking at a zodiac wheel. But what I did want you to look at was your polar opposites. I do talk about polar opposites in birth charts. And so here you have, let's start with Aries. Where's my Aries? My Aries is right here. Aries. Aries is the polar opposite of Libra. So Aries, Taurus, and Gemini are considered the babies of the zodiacs. They're the spring equinox. They're all 30 degrees, 0 through 29. And it goes through the constellation of each zodiac sign. Or I should say the constellation goes through each house or zodiac sign, right? And that's what's going on when a planet is in a zodiac sign or a house. That's what it's going. It's just the constellations are moving into houses. Okay. So when I was talking about Pluto being Capricorn, Pluto is moving through the houses. This is the house. These are the houses. This is a zodiac wheel. So not to confuse them, not trying to confuse you, but I know Cappies, you would kind of appreciate this. Aries are the babies, the toddlers of the zodiac sign. Okay, and then we have Cancer. Cancer is a summer solstice. It is the matriarch, like I said, of the zodiac. And Cancer is pretty much the teenagers or the young adults getting ready to go to college and get married, right? And that's Cancer, Leo, Virgo. Okay. And I'm sorry if you can't see this. Trying to put it as close as possible. I'll move closer so that maybe you could see it without the glare. Whatever. Okay, let's move on. And then we have Libra. Libra is a relationship house, right? It's ruled by Venus. Aries is the polar opposite of Libra. And Libras are kind of, I call them the midlife people. You know, the adult that's been married for about 10, 20, 30 years, if you've been married, or have had stable careers. You know, you're pretty much in your 40s at this point, you know. So we have Libra, we have Scorpio and Sagittarius. And then we have Capricorn. Capricorn, your polar opposite is Cancer, as you could see. You are considered the elderly, winter solstice, the patriarchs. So it's Capricorn, oh my God, Aquarius and Pisces, okay? All right, so this measures to 360 degrees, by the way. They all have 90 degrees. Each house is 30 degrees, like I said, but we're not really worried about math, are we, right now? But I just, you know, giving you a little, yeah, the glare went away when I did that, huh? About the Zodiac Wheel. Now, I'll give you, you know, maybe an example of myself, because I surely don't want you to be like this. What the hell does that mean? What does this mean, Leonore? Well, let me tell you about my birth chart, because this is all has to do with your birth chart. And you'll find pictures like this with, like I said, more complicated situations going on here. But I am a Sun Scorpio, right? My Sun is in Scorpio. So I am pretty much in this area of life, midlife, midlife crisis. Not really crisis, but yes, I mean, if you're talking about Scorpio, yeah, could be. So this is my Sun. This is what the outside world sees. They see this person that kind of that has it together, that is all about, you know, pretty much taking life, you know, a little serious, you know, a little serious, not that much, but a little serious, you know. Scorpio is, you know, I did a video on Scorpio, so let's just forget about that, but Scorpio has its own little, you know, situation going on there. And just because they're all in one, like for example, like the midlife, the elderly, the babies, doesn't mean that they're all the same. Each sign is different. Each sign is different. All 12 zodiac signs are very different from the others. They're just partitioned this way, okay? Now, my moon is in Aquarius. My moon is my emotions. My moon is my mental state of being. It happens to be in the elderly part of the Zodiac Wheel. I think the only thing that's like really in these two partitions, like the babies or the toddlers, is Cancer. My Saturn is in Cancer. And speaking about Saturn, let's go back to Saturn, shall we? You ready for this? I usually don't do this, Capricorns. I don't go into mythological stories whatsoever when it comes to zodiac signs. And you know, zodiac signs is all about mythology, Greek mythology, Roman mythology, all types of mythologies. They're all integrated, believe it or not. Everybody has their own type, you know, different timelines, but it's all pretty much integrated. And so let's talk about Saturn. Let's talk about gods and goddesses and the Titans, okay? I've really felt compelled to tell you this, and I don't know if this will resonate with you, but hopefully in the end you'll get what I'm saying. The story of Saturn. Well, just so you know, really quick before I move on to my mythology story of Capricorn, or Saturn, I should say. the ruling planet of Capricorn. Capricorn, this month, right now we're in early September. It's going to be in its house of Capricorn. So, like I said, every constellation or planet, if you will, goes through their own houses. Right now, the full moon that we have right now is in Pisces. The new moon was in Virgo, right? Same thing with the planets. Planets go through different houses. And, it might have been in Cancer 4 years ago. And then it hit Libra 20 years ago. Well, just so you know, and I'm pretty much excited about this, but at the same time, a little on edge, your planet is going to be in its home sign of Capricorn this month. I don't know what the fuck that's gonna mean. It's an earth sign, so I'm happy. A lot of our planets, half of it, and then it's pretty much in an earth sign, and to me, that represents stability, and it no matter what earth sign that is, which are Taurus, help me out, Virgo, and Capricorn. Those 3 houses all represent different things, So, it could be stability in relationship. It could be stability in career, depending on what planet, it is. I would concentrate more on which planet right now it's housing. But Saturn will be in its home planet. You're going back home to mama and daddy. So it's basically where if you had to say that's where I was born and raised, and then you leave home to go to Virgo or Aquarius, and you come back home to Saturn, like mommy and daddy, I'm back home. That's your home. That it's called its home planet for a reason. Let's go into the mythology story, shall we? So Cronus is basically Saturn in Greek mythology, Roman mythology, whatever. But let's just say Greek for the sake of time. Cronus ruled the golden age of the Titans. His mother Gaia, the creator, and his father Uranus had a few children. 3 of them, I want to say 2 or 3 of them were kind of monsters. Cyclops being one of them. The father, Uranus, decided to just cage up the monsters. Not even knowing how they were on the inside. He just looked at them on the inside, but people look at some people on the outside and they're like, oh my God, it's one big monster with 1 eye and 5 heads on its chest, and I'll be like, you don't look like me, let me cage you up. I think that's what Uranus was thinking. I don't know. I know that it upset mommy very much so, Gaia. However, their youngest, Cronus, did not come out that way. Cronus was a god. It looked like a god. Beautiful, long hair, beard, whatever. However a god looks like. And so Gaia was very upset about this for a very long time. And so Gaia and Uranus told Cronus, their son, their youngest son, that tradition is basically the child takes over the kingdom. That's just tradition. It happens even today. It's just what you hear in history, right? The son it's usually the son, right? Or the daughter will take over and reign. Same thing with the god and goddesses, you know. They take over the kingdom eventually. And so one day, Gaia, his mother, and Cronus decided to overthrow the father. She was still very upset about her children being locked up in the underworld. That's where he put them. And so they devised a plan. They overthrew his father, Uranus, and he was imprisoned. And Cronus met Rhea, his wife. Rhea and him had a few children. Now, this was the first generation of Titans, right? We're talking about Poseidon, Hades. She gave birth to these children. Rhea is the mother of gods for a reason. And so Cronus didn't like the fact that one day that his children was going to overthrow him, maybe kill him, and take over. So he devised a plan. And his plan was like a little insane for someone that ruled the golden age. I mean, we're talking about Cronus, the god, the king of gods that basically him and Malaya decided to create mortals. These mortals lived for hundreds of years, and they created the first mortals. And so he had a lot of stuff under his belt, like, you know, the creator and the person that reigned the golden age of the Titans. You know, you get married and you decide to basically get rid of your children, and because you're afraid of being overthrown one day. And so he swallowed all of his children, including Poseidon, including Hades, Hera. And so their last born, Zeus, was hidden. Rhea, Cronus' wife, decided to hid Zeus in a cave. Gaia actually was raising him, his grandmother. And so Zeus was very, I mean, he grew an immense amount of anger and did not like his father. The fact that, number one, his uncles, his great uncles were imprisoned. Number two, his siblings were all swallowed by his father. And number three, the fact that he had to be raised in a cave because his father did not accept him. And so one day, Zeus, as an adult, met his lovely wife, and she was pretty wise. Some people would call her probably the witch of the universe or something like that. I don't know what they would call witches up in the universe, but in the constellation, but, or the gods, I should say. But she said, you know what? Why don't you become his water bearer? Why don't you become the cupbearer? I mean, he doesn't know you anyway. He's not going to know who you are. And I'll give you a potion so that he could vomit your siblings out. And that's exactly what happened. He disguised himself as a water bearer and laced his wine. And one by one, his children, which weren't children anymore, they were adults at this point, were vomited out. He vomited all his grown children. And so Zeus was very happy that he had his siblings back. Cronus was not. And the battle of the Titans began. So now we're talking about the gods versus the first generation of Titans. What the fuck? Zeus made sure to, remove his great uncles from the prison, the underworld. And so he had them on his side, and so you're talking about Cyclops and the first generation of Titans against the gods, And so the battle of the Titans was pretty intense, but the Titans they ended up winning. They ended up winning, and they imprisoned these gods. These gods that just was malicious. Let's just put it that way. Was just thinking selfish. Had no trust. They all thought about themselves. And so the monsters, I call them monsters, but they were Gaia's children, gave Zeus a gift. They gave him a lightning bolt. I don't know if you know anything about mythology, but when you see Zeus, he usually has this lightning bolt. He became ruler of the sky. Hades, that's one of Cronus's children. We're talking about them being adults. He became ruler of the underworld. Poseidon became ruler of the rain and the water, the seas. So they were all given this rulership and gifts and stuff like that by the monsters, by their great uncles. They gave them this, and they imprisoned his father, Cronus. Cronus was imprisoned for the shit he did. But I must say something. I know that this sounds like, oh my God, this is all mythology. What does this have to do with Capricorn? But I'll tell you what it does have to do with Capricorn. In the end, and I'm about to click off and start your reading, Capricorns. In the end, Cronus was eventually released from the underworld, and they gave him a title. They gave him the title of ruler of time, god of time, lord of time, whatever. And so Saturn is the god of time, just like Pluto is the god of the underworld. Okay? But what have we learned from this? Not to swallow your children. Okay, no. Capricorns, they understand the political and social structure in order to succeed. That is Capricorn to its embodiment. Okay? And so one thing about Capricorn is that, yes, this is the planet of time, but they don't put up with people's bullshit. They don't have time for people's bullshit. They put up this wall. And Scorpio, I was saying before that Scorpio and Capricorn are sort of the same thing, but Scorpio is a water sign. They have feelings, and they feel sorry for people. And even though they don't trust easily, they're very accepting of people's ways. They accept people's ways and how they are. Capricorns don't. It takes a while for their walls to come down. And so in tarot, just so you know, the major arcana for Capricorn is the devil. The devil is lived backwards. I'm sure some people know that out there, but it's lived backwards. And so Capricorns, you have the ability to see the unseen energies of the inhumane. You have the ability to see people's failures and anxiety. You have the ability to see your own dark reflection in other people. Because let's face it, Capricorn, the reason why you don't trust other people is because you don't trust yourself. And that, my friend, is the whole mythological story. If you get it. If you don't, that's okay. I'm going to start the reading. All right, so I'm going to use my tarot deck cards to do part 2. Okay, I hope you enjoyed part 1. All right, thank you.